Perfect. Right. So, Stacey, we finally get to chat. So, this is Stacey, and we don't actually know each other yet, right?
Yeah, well, I think like other than you activating my light language, but hey.
So, this is really, really strange because both Stacey and I are on this like spiritual journey. Like, our
Yeah,
whole worlds have completely changed recently. And I find it dead interesting because I think you've had quite a fast.
yeah.
Yeah. And I am so interested to hear about your journey because I haven't got a fucking clue who you are, what you were when you were a regular person, a normal person, and like what's going on for you.
Yeah, before I start like bursting into light language in Asta and like talking about baby dragons and hey, you have a baby dragon that's gonna grow with you whenever your spiritual journey grows. Like that's just dropping into your awareness whenever you're talking to someone. Yeah, so I'm a mum of four. I have a 14, 12, 4, and 1 year old. And yeah, I was just like a regular, like just stay-at-home mum, just doing the mum stuff. And then I had a breakdown in 2021, and that was the beginning of like I had like little experiences now that I look back when you're younger and like I seen an image of like a Victorian boy when I think I was like 7, but you just
Mm,
put it down to I must have had a fever or something, like these little things. Or
yeah, yeah,
I now know, having this connection with spirit, that there's been a couple of times where they have swooped in and kind of like saved the day. Um, but yeah, so I kind of didn't know. I started off with like crystals and bought my first like oracle deck and you know build into that. And then last year, I got attuned in Reiki, like I think 6 weeks after my son was born, and that started like healing. Like I thought I had been doing healing until I found Reiki, and then it was like all of this just explosion of like, just all the crap that comes up. You feel like you're purging all this like anger and resentment and the grief and crying, and you're just like standing cooking dinner and you just like burst into tears. And then
yeah.
I found like going beyond the veil in July, and I'm just like, okay, yeah, this is great. So I'd started my business with Reiki and just found this online spiritual community. And then from like the very first Going Beyond the Veil session, I had Yeshua as my guide and Bastet, the goddess. And here I am, like connecting with Yeshua and my grandparents and like, whoever else wants to hang out, like some dragons and
Just to explain for anyone watching this, going beyond the veil is a spiritual connection modality where we take people through a process to help them to connect to spirit guides or ascended masters or crossed over loved ones or angels or spirit animals or whatever sort of resonates who they're connecting with, or ancestral, not ancestral beings, galactic beings, and whatever that is. And that's where like we met, wasn't it? Because
yeah,
was that this year in March?
yeah, July.
Aye, okay.
Yeah.
I was doing,
Because
yeah, go on.
just no, it was just like in July, and it feels like I've been on this journey for like ages. But then I'm like, no, it's July. It's July. It's July. It's crazy, honestly. And like we met just because they were telling me you need to talk to Laura G. You need to, and I'm like, no, I can't talk to her. She's like the it girl. I feel like there's like this level and you're like, oh my, you're fangirl and all over these people that are doing like amazing things, and I'm like, I can't talk to her. And they're like, talk to Laura G. And then I reached out to you, and it was like during our session, light language, and it's just like, yeah.
But this is what is so strange because it's this is just so fucked up. Like you just pinch yourself because I was helping Serena with the launch, right? And so you probably saw me doing the light language.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Did you even know what it was? Did you?
Yeah. So
Oh,
I found light language during like, so like everyone did during like lockdown, and people started like doing their healing. So I had my a breakdown in 20, so I think I downloaded TikTok during like lockdown, and I started I was kind of just doing a little bit, but I didn't really take it seriously until like the following year. But I did see people, I'm like, light language, what is that? But as soon as I heard it, I'm like, I feel like I know what they're saying, but I couldn't possibly know what they're saying because it sounds like they're speaking in tongues. Because you just know from like biblical version of like, and being in some types of churches where they just like speak out and shout out, and it just, to me, I was like, what are they saying? Like it just sounds like, the biggest load of dribble that you've ever heard. And that
Yeah,
was that was my first experience. And then obviously I heard you, and I'm like, he does that.
so weird. So that was still really new to me. I mean, my dad, I was brought up Christian, and my dad spoke tongues. But it always sounded quite, it didn't feel good. When I heard, it was just, I don't know what it was. But yeah, for me, the light language just like dropped in out of nowhere, like an absolute ton of bricks into my entire body. Um, and yeah, so I was on that call and obviously did the light language. But then I think you'd signed up quite quickly. You didn't, am I right in thinking you didn't even have a going beyond the veil session when you signed up to become
Um, so
facilitator?
I was going, and I was in that like, I don't know if I can afford this, because like obviously I had just started like
Yeah.
my business, and then I had sepsis in March. So like I had been doing a few like mobile sessions doing like Reiki, and then I had surgery in February and took sepsis and went into septic shock. So I kind of wasn't really working. I was sort of just like building my audience, and then I was like, I don't think I can like afford this, but it keeps calling me, and like even before the event, Serena's like ads just kept popping up and popping up. And Natalie, we have sort of connected in a few places online, and I she offered to give me a session before. I think it was a Thursday night. And
Oh,
then literally the next day I got a letter to say something to do about like payments or paying my like business insurance or something. I was able to get like this extra money per month. And it was literally just a couple of pounds more than what the monthly payments for going beyond the veil was. And I was like, okay, that must be a sign.
yeah. I think,
It
yeah,
was
I think I remember because it was like in the community, it was like I kind of saw your name popping up. And then you'd sent me a message to say, when you were saying earlier, they're telling me to speak to Laura G.
yeah.
That is the most insane thing. So that was for you connecting to your spirit guides, right?
Yeah, that was during a session that had, I don't know, can't remember if it was with Natalie or when I first signed up. I got a session from someone quite quickly. They were like, anybody wants a session, and I'm like, oh, is it okay if I have one? And I think that was it was the second session that I ever got, and they were on the cloud looking down, going, need to talk to Laura G. Need to talk to Laura G. And I'm like, okay. So you're like going away and you're going back, and you're like, okay, I'll talk to you. And then I kind of sat for a while, and I was like, okay, obviously this is not the first time. Like they were really adamant about saying, so I kind of just like reached out, and I'm like, I'm really sorry to like slide into your DMs.
Yeah, but that to me, because you was like, and I remember where I know exactly where I was because I remember this conversation because this is so weird to me because I am just me. I'm not anything more special than anybody else. And you were like, oh my God, it's like I'm speaking to a software. I was like, fucking last 30. I looked at your profile online. You hold like women's circles. You've got your own amazing community and you are doing amazing things with incredible souls because your journey is so interesting, Stacey. What you've done and who you are and what you've been through. And to be here now and to literally be doing all of this healing work and shining your fucking light as bright as you do blows my mind. So when you're saying to me, "Oh my God, I'm speaking to Laura," I'm like, "Oh my God, I'm speaking to Stacey."
I'm like, but I'm just me. I'm just like, I'm like, I think it's the spiritual aspect of it, because obviously I feel like now that I've done this and I've opened up this like big Pandora's box of like the spiritual aspect, I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like, this is spirit, because the circles did not come. Like I did my first one, and I did a few, but this was like my first one that I put myself out there, like really in the public, and that was in August. So I'd signed up in like the July, and then I did my first one in like proper big one in August, and like think it was 16 or 17 people came, and I was like, "Oh my God, what am I gonna do?" But then because I'd had this connection with Spirit, it was just like, "Just go for it. Just be yourself." And straight away, Spirit was like, "The people who are gonna get you are gonna get you, and the people who don't, they're gonna find someone for them. So don't be." And that's the way I've just been doing it now, and I'm just and it honestly took a session, and I felt I got the gift of love. And that since then, it has literally just been like I am a mum and you get your unconditional love and you do get that. But to have that from Spirit and feel that and just know that, okay, like you're supported no matter what. So I feel like I just go out and just do me now. And I'm like, who is this person? Because last year I'm standing in Asda with broken headphones because I don't want to talk to people. And here I am sitting online making like random videos and talking about my little dragon friend. It's
Yeah.
so strange.
But I just love your courage and I love your confidence because it wasn't long after your light language was activated that I was on Facebook and I'm seeing you saying, right, I've got a nice light language transmission that's coming through. And I'm like, fucking hell, go Stacey, look at you, look at
Oh
your
yeah, that was them. They were like, "Okay, so put this out now." And I did one, I think was it like a couple of weeks ago, and it has been sitting in my drafts for about 2 months. And I've been getting, "You need to put yourself out more." And I'm like, "But I am." And I'm in sessions and I'm like, "But I am putting myself out there." And then I keep getting like showing the video and I'm like, "I'm not putting that out there.
oh
I
wow,
can't
you're still
sing." I'm
you
like,
sing
"I
on.
can't sing." Yeah, it's like a there's parts of it and it's like singing and I'm like, "I am not putting that out there. I cannot sing."
Stacey, I have the same message.
I
Like
used to
I'm
say,
supposed to sing it as well.
yeah, and I don't normally I don't know, do you feel it? Whenever do you feel like the energy? So when people say, "Oh my goodness, I get like this and I get this," and you're just like, "But I'm just like this is just coming out of my mouth. I don't feel anything."
Yeah, yeah. For me, it's almost like it just kind of comes up through my body and I can feel my body moving. But yeah,
Like you don't get so if you're doing say you do like for someone who has a sore throat, so you don't feel that like there, but you do
sometimes,
know there's something. And I'm
yeah,
like, so, but for this, when this, I did the singing, that is the first time that I've actually felt, oh, this must be what it's like whenever you receive light language. So I don't know, maybe that's why you have to do it as well, because I feel like it's, I don't know, maybe more potent or something. Like
it,
Natalie's is amazing. Like whenever
yeah,
she does it, I'm like, I can feel myself like wiggling and
yeah.
buzzing. It is. So maybe that's what you have to do now.
Maybe, yeah. It was interesting because I was talking to the other Natalie today, who was also really feeling the pull that she needs to start singing. And it was interesting because I literally activated her light language about a year ago. It would have been about a year ago. And that was oh, it was insane. The power, it was almost like I think her soul is from Panache is the word that we got,
Oh,
whatever star system that's from. And it's like not tribal, but I feel like I'm in a jungle when she's
wow.
and it was interesting because I was literally clicked on that video last night and then she's talking about singing today and I'm like, I'm feeling like you're supposed to be singing the light language. I think this is what we're supposed to be doing.
Wow.
But we'll just see. But honestly, Stacey, if I tried to sing, every single window in my house would shatter because that is my singing abilities. It's utterly shit. Um,
I think we all like I say I think I'm like the best Celine Dion when I'm in the car by myself, but my kids will be like, "No, you're not."
yeah, I'm exactly the same. I can belt out some tunes, but no one.
Yeah. No, nobody wants to hear that. That's why I think it took like 2 months and they were like, "Put yourself out there." Like they were starting to get really cross with me. Then I
Oh,
was just like, "Do you know what? I'm just sending it. I'm not even looking at it. I'm not reading the comments. I'm not
mhm.
doing anything." And then one of the other like going beyond the veil trainees message was like, "Wow, that was so good." And I'm like, I'm not even looking."
Yeah, yeah, but I'm exactly the same though. So I kept getting the message. I need to do more light language. I need to do it more on TikTok.
Oh,
And
yes.
the resistance
Uh-huh.
in my body, but because obviously I've got Lydia and Nicole, two teenagers, and all of
Yeah.
my friends are following me, Stacey, and they're all putting me light language on loudspeaker, and they keep feeding back how weird everybody thinks I am, and I'm like, I've just got to do this. I don't know what it
Yeah,
do it is just I've got to do it. You
yeah,
know, through the Great Awakening, everyone's changing, the consciousness
yeah,
is rising. This is the new norm, right? And I'm like, you two are gonna be glad one day when you
yeah.
how powerful.
Whenever their, like, gifts activate, they're gonna be like, "Okay, so mom, I need some help."
Yeah, yeah,
'Cause I feel like that's what it is. You're gonna eventually, but there's like I'm the same. I'm kind of like, oh, I'm so embarrassing for like my 14 and 12-year-old. Though they do get like if they're like ill or whatever, and will come and say, I will do like Reiki or I'll do some light language, or if they are really nervous, like their mock. Well, my eldest, her mocks is next week. So I will just before she goes to school, and I do it every day before they go into school. They don't know I do it, but it's like I'll do the light language and I'll send like Holy Fire Reiki and send them into school. And I'm like, so how was school today? Oh, it was good. I'm like, okay. They don't know I do it, but they're gonna know now.
yeah.
If they watch me like cringe and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's doing this.
I love it. And my what was I gonna say? It's just gone out of my head.
You're going on TikTok.
Yeah, I was gonna say something about the kids moaning about like, oh yeah, yeah, that was it. My youngest, her friend's boyfriend was putting my light language on loudspeaker to take the piss out of me, and it resonated with her. So she was talking to Nicole and she's like, I need to speak to your mum. I need to speak to your mum. I know I'm connected to your mum. Anyway, I met her and honestly, we were just holding each other for
Oh,
I couldn't let go of the girl. Honestly, it was like the connection between me and her is just immense. And she would just wanted me to do light language. And Nicole's there laughing her head off because she's like, "This is my mum doing this weird stuff," and but she's just receiving it and she's just feeling it and just feeling
oh,
so at
I love
peace.
that.
Yeah, and it's just mad, and it's interesting because their friends are always asking me about it. They're asking me to do it. They're asking me to explain it. And these are 16, 17, 18 year
Yeah,
old boys, who are so curious about what this is, curious about the Great Awakening, curious about frequencies and different dimensions and timelines and what we're seeing changing. It's like I just love seeing the
I
shift.
love it. I love it. And it's so good to see. And like the more that you go down that rabbit hole and you see about these kids that are sent, like I know my son, so my eldest boy, like has a connection to spirit. Like he has seen things from when he was younger. And then obviously like we come into society and that like blockage comes out. But he's so fascinated whenever I like say, he told me the other night that he heard somebody say his name and he straight away was like, is that a good or bad thing? And I was like, well, I have wards in the house and everything, so it's not a bad thing. I was like, you have that connection. You don't need me. You can just say, I don't want to talk to you, and they totally will get that. Um, like my 4-year-old is absolutely obsessed with Archangel Michael. Like he is Archangel Michael this and Archangel Michael that, and Archangel Michael looks after me. And like when he has a bad dream, he's like, Archangel Michael, come and talk to me. It's like, and then the baby, like like as someone said to me before, he's like a little reggae baby because obviously I got that when I was pregnant, and he just absolutely loves light language. Like he's not really a fan if I try to do Reiki on him, but you see light language, oh, loves it. And frequencies are just he just loves like I would put light language on from like YouTube whenever he's going to sleep beside me and he is out like a light. It like soothes him and puts him off to sleep. So I absolutely love this. Like these younger generations are like coming in obviously to help like just change the whole trajectory of like the planet, and it's just amazing
Yeah.
to be
And
like
that's I think pretty much all of the new babies that are being born now, they are those higher dimensional souls
yeah.
here to really help humanity shift. And it's so interesting because, we as adults, as parents, we push our kids down and tell them to be good and not listen to them. But actually we can learn so much from them because
Yeah,
souls, babies, when we're born into this physical reality, we are so close to source. We know that truth. We know that unconditional love, and we know that we are divine and part of the oneness. But because we're conditioned then to seek our love and everything from mum and dad, we always learn to look outside of ourselves for love and attention and worthiness and all of the rest of it. And that's where we kind of get fucked up because actually what we do is we learn to please mum,
Yeah.
learn to please this person and that person and that person. We don't remain true to ourselves. Whereas children are naturally selfish, which is amazing because the more selfish you are, being in alignment with yourself, we're taught selfishness is, I mean, obviously to a degree,
Yeah.
being in touch with self means being in touch with source, with the divine, with the
Yeah.
truth. And that's what we can learn from children because basically our only job here to be in alignment is to have fun, to
Yeah.
and enjoy life because the more we have fun and enjoy life, we are literally just radiating happiness and good vibes and positivity. And yeah, I've so learned off my kids to just let go of responsibility from time to time and
And
just
just go for it.
yeah. I was going down the stairs on my hands like head first the other day. The kids are walking past like, Mum, what are you doing? And I'm like, used to do this when I was a kid. Why can't I do it now?
I love it. I love those like little like moments and you just like my kids will just, I'll randomly just like break out dancing and they're like, "What are you doing?"
Yeah.
I'm
Like,
standing with like the mop and I'm giving it my best to lead on and they're like, "Oh my God, please stop." You're
yeah.
like dancing about the house. So like I used to with my 4-year-old and 1-year-old, they'll sometimes do like dance parties. So they'll come out of like the bath, we'll get the glow sticks, turn off all the lights, and then just blast the music. And they think this is the best thing ever. And it is so good for healing the inner child, like honestly. Because as you say, from like especially, about our age and like I'm 88, so like a late 80s child, just the complete difference of like you're pushed down and pushed down and like for so long in my childhood I just thought like I'm not normal. Like why am I not like everybody else? And then you try so hard to like people please and become somebody you're not. And like I used to say I was like I had like 100 faces because I could literally go into a room and just mold myself to whatever anybody in the room wanted you to be. And oh, it was just no wonder like I had a breakdown because I think like everyone during lockdown kind of had to sit back and go, okay, so who am I? Because you didn't have to be around everyone. And yeah, so and it's just so freeing now to just like figure out who I am, which is so strange as like a 36-year-old like woman, like who am I? But to not know who you are and just fully embrace my like weird self and feel like I found my like soul tribe who just appreciate the weird. Like I've never had that where people just fully just get you and just like they actually like you as the person that you are. It's just it's just so freeing. And I love that my kids just are becoming the more that I do embrace this, the more they're embracing their weird and just like are just like completely letting their little like weirdo flag just wave high.
Yes. Oh, my heart just sings listening to that because this is it. This is it. It's all about coming back to ourselves, finding out who we are. And believe me, I have been the person that I thought I needed to be all my life to be liked and accepted and loved. And when you said you didn't know who you were at 36, I didn't know who I was. Oh, probably about 6 months ago, a year ago.
Yeah.
And I remember being asked, who are you? Who is Laura? And instead of being like, well, wife, mum, reeling off these
Yeah.
like, well, who the fuck am I? Who am I?
Yeah.
You can relate yourself to a hobby or, but who is underneath that? And finally, with this journey, we get to find out who we are.
Yeah.
We get to understand why our souls decided to incarnate here. And like you said, just embrace that weirdness. And
Yeah.
honestly, the amount of I'm talking to some people at the moment, like new people I'm being introduced to, and I'm just being me. I'm not trying to be anything. And I'll literally just say to them, listen, it's because they're asking me questions about spirituality and all this. I'm like, go on my website, go on my social media, have a look, because then you'll understand like the level of weird we're talking here. You see me on there talking alien language and it doesn't freak you out. Okay, we
Let's
can,
chat.
yeah. It's just honestly, it's
Yeah.
insane.
And just to even think, because I feel like this is probably why we connect it, because we kind of have that same, like, really repressed from like childhood right up. And that's the thing, it's just so freeing to be like, okay, so I remember setting up like my Facebook as my business one and thinking, oh my goodness, I have to be so professional. And you're all listening to all of these people and they're like, you need to do this and you can't tell this and you can't talk about this to like I think in March, like if I hadn't went in when I did, I wouldn't be here. That's how serious like it was. And I just think when you get to that level and you like it's so strange because having that background with the church, I kind of had this aversion to church. But when I was in to have my operation for sepsis, it was Jesus and God I was praying to look after my kids. And then it's so strange that the first person that pops in when I do like going beyond the veil is Yeshua's almost to go, yeah, I'm real, like I'm here and I'm one of your guides. I'm like, of course you are. Do you
Yeah.
know? And just having that, and it just is so freeing to just be like, do you know what? I'm just gonna do me, and the right people will think this is amazing, and the other people will be like, she is too weird for me, and I don't have that anymore where I really care about like doing the school run and people thinking, oh my gosh, that's that weird girl that does that weird thing on and singing and all that stuff on TikTok and like Facebook. I'm just like, yep, I'm me.
That's it. And when I think when you know your own truth to that depth, you just don't give a flying fuck anymore
No,
about
you
what
really
anyone
don't.
else thinks. And let's just we'll do some light language because if anyone's watching this and they haven't heard it, let's just show them what it is. But then I'd be really interested if you don't mind, if you feel comfortable, just sharing a little bit about your story because you have been through some pretty shitty times, right? Um,
Yeah.
but
Are you sure you've got enough time? Because I feel like this is it. I'm only joking. I'm saying this is like a three-part series. I always joke that I need my own like Jeremy Kyle show or like a three-book series.
highlights, we'll just do highlights because it just gives people hope because there's so many people going through so much suffering in life and it's only going to get worse. And this journey of finding ourselves and healing and really getting to that authentic version of us is the way out of it. So much depression, so many
Yeah.
illnesses and disease and fucking just everything. But we've all got the answers inside of ourselves and we've all got access to that.
Mm.
So it just be, if you don't mind, we'll see.
Of course.
But
I don't even know where to like start.
we'll,
I'm just
we'll do light language first, if that's.
okay. Yeah, okay.
I don't know why I feel like we need to do light language first. So do you want to explain what light language is, like from your understanding?
So for me, I feel I used to think it was just like a spirit, sort of like tongues. It was your way of connecting to spirit, but I feel like it's home to me. That's what when I connect to light language or when I speak light language, I feel like that's my soul's truth. I don't know. That's what I feel like it's the whenever I'm doing it for clients and doing it on my kids, I feel like it's just like the beginning. I don't know. It's so hard to explain, but just whenever you do it, it just to me, it just feels like this is it, like this is home, this is just here, like, and I get so much joy from doing it. Doesn't matter if I'm just doing it on the kids or I'm doing it for whatever, sitting in the car doing anything, like it just um yeah, so it's really not explaining it that well, but that's what it
Yeah. And what feedback do you get from people? Do people say that they feel it, that they receive healing, messaging? What?
yeah, so I would just it pops into my head and somebody's face will pop in and a lot of times, so people just who are in my circle, like, whether they've been a client or at events or we've connected and they ask me a few questions, so I will just like message and just say, um, I've just had a message, like I've just been given guidance that I need to send you some light language. Is that okay? And then I wait for them to like message back. I'm like, oh yeah, please. So then I'll do like a whole spiel. They're like, oh my goodness. Oh, that just felt like I felt that here, I felt that there. I really needed it. I've had a couple of people that have been going through a really hard time and I'm just like this is a message. I don't know what it means because I can't translate it and they're just like you know what instantly like I was just so nervous and so anxious and it just completely like calmed me down. I've had people who've had like horrendous migraines and I'm sending light language and they're just like wow it's like lifting. I feel like that pressure is off my head. So yeah, I feel like it's just all these light codes coming in and
Yeah.
feeling and the messages that they need from spirit and it's just like a real connection tool of some sort.
Yeah, and exactly what you've said. for me, it's like a multidimensional frequency that we're all connected to. We are all part of that oneness. And so what it does, even though we cannot always understand a translation in terms of English words, English language, because there are no words to even start to comprehend the enormity of what we're connected to. But each and every soul will feel it if they're open to feeling it and open to receiving it and feel and resonate with what is coming through for them on a vibrational level, because everything's vibration and we just get caught up in our heads trying to understand, but we're never going to understand.
Yeah.
Um, and I always think that everybody receives what they need as well.
Yeah.
Everybody's filter in everybody's body receives exactly what they need for their highest good. So one person might, like you say, have a headache lift. Another person might end up having a vision or a message or a download with something. Always different. So with that being said, let's just set the intention for anybody watching this, knowing that energy, what's going to come through Stacey and I right now, transmutes time and space. So any time that anyone's transcends time and space. So anytime anyone's watching this, this is just going to be equally as powerful for, like, if it can be, it might be this year, next year, whenever it is. So let's set the intention for the whoever's watching receive what they need for their highest good. Do you want to go first, and then I'll finish off with a bit.
Okay, no
Only
problem.
like just a couple of, don't have to be long.
I'll just go with whatever they give me because it it's toko e leke te a e shele koto e she a ke te toto e sele ke te he le koto no e se a she a toto e se a e te a ke e koto no e te a se a koto e she na ka te se a te e ke e te koto so e ne a te ana ka ta se e tō loto e se e ke ano kono ke se e ke se ai a sanaka se tō ko kono e te a te se a.
Perfect. I could feel myself responding to it. And I forgot to say to anybody watching it, just breathe into your heart, close your eyes, and set the intention to be open to receive for your highest good. Wate ore a toko ari o kotokoria si o koria doko di onoria sikiata. Hi o kori aki o kotoko siki o tokoria sia nari o kotoria sikiata. Hore anno o koto oria si ani o noriana ari o kotoria sikiata. Kuata ari o ko ai o koria ni o koria sikia tori ariano kotikiata. Kuati o noria siki o toria saki o tokuria kikiki o kori ayana nane akiata. Kuata so ni o no 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 yo koto koria sikiata. Ki o nari o koto kosikiata. And just take a deep breath and open your eyes. Anybody who was closed eyes. That's your experience of light language. If
Yeah, it's magic. And it's always different. So I always think like some people have said, "Oh, you just put that on." I'm like, you can't if you tried."
oh my God, some of the ones that I've channeled, it's like, I'm thinking, what the fuck's coming out of my mouth? How is my mouth moving that quick to make those noises? How's that even happening?
I know. And there's some of them I think so it was a while ago when I did my first ever like TikTok live, and during it I took this like massive um like coughing fit, and it was when they were telling me you need to put yourself out, you keep putting yourself out, I kept putting myself off doing this TikTok live, and I had to stop the live. And honestly, I felt like something just unlocked within my throat. So now this light language sometimes comes out and I feel it's like dragon, because I can always feel like a dragon energy behind me, and it gets really, really low. And I'm like, I can't even talk that low. How does that come out of my mouth? So you're like, you can't if you tried. Could you? I'm like, these are not normal ways that your mouth goes and the way your like throat goes.
Can you do dragon like on demand, or does it just come through?
It, I haven't got, sometimes I try and then I get that take your time, like don't run, like walk. And I'm like, okay. But I try. I'm like, you're asking, and I know the way that you do, and you're like, okay, spirit, show me like Lemurian or Lyran, and I try that, and they're like, as if to go, right, Stacey, calm yourself, come on.
I feel like I might try it. I think I should. This is proper weird
Oh,
for any.
please, please do. I want to hear. Like, I want to hear if it sounds kind of like how it comes out.
Okay. This honestly, if anyone's watching this and they've made it this far, then they're clearly interested and equally as battleship bonkers as we are. So, God, I remember doing this in my membership, and I was just laughing so much. So I just need to just can't believe I'm doing this. Right, okay. I feel pressure.
It is. I think that's what it is. I think if it was just on my own, I might be able to do it.
Oh
But
my
you know
God.
whenever
Knowing
you
that,
like fail and you're recording it and you're like, but what if it doesn't come up? And then you're putting a block on it. So it's like,
yeah. Right. And the thing is, I can't remember what it is. I just know, like you said, it gives you a sore throat because it's
yeah,
like
it's so
noisy.
like, and at the end of it, you're like,
Right. Okay. Concentrate, Laura. Dragon, please, spirit. Wati ono kotiki atoko da kotoko ayoria ayaki otokori asiki a. Hoyo ayano kori aki oto orio kotoko ayasikia. Hoa ayano okori asoko ori asikiata. Hoa yaki oko ayo kori aki ono ko ario kario kotoko asikiata. Did you
yeah,
feel?
yeah. I could feel like that. I was like just in a trance there because honestly, that one speaks to me. I don't know if it's just this. I don't know what it is, but it's one of the ones that really do speak to me, and whenever it comes out, and it will sometimes come out when I'm like doing distance Reiki or something for a client, and I'm like, oh, this is like powerful because this is a message, and you can just feel that like immense, like I don't know, like a rising, like a calling or something, like a real battle call.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know sometimes I'm here and I'm like booming out this energy. I'm like, fucking hell. In fact, let me ask first. Let's just getting carried away, aren't we? Right, Spirit, I want a message for the collective, please. I want something that's going to resonate with everybody watching this, anyone who's got this far. I want something that's going to resonate with everybody. So, everybody watching, if you want to feel this, close your eyes, breathe into your heart, just focus on your heart and just be open to receiving. Wania ario sakioto koria sikiato ko ario no yono no yakiata. Fuario ria sakiario naria karia sikiata. Fuario koria sikiario koria sikia. Hianiano oria sakiaria kioria kiario koria sikiata. Fuari ario koria sikianiano oria sikiata. Fuari oria kato kozaki oria ki o oria ni anana koria siekia. Huariana ario kotaki o koria sikiata. Deep breath. Any one of my kids' friends watching this, wanting to take the piss, fuck off!
Oh.
You're not wanting to take the piss. Thank you for watching.
I love it.
Go.
Oh my goodness, I had a white dragon and this like huge, huge red and gold dragon just like floating. I felt like I was in this, I want to say like volcanic area. So it felt like, but it was in like a pit, but it felt like fire around me and these like two like dragons just floating around. It's amazing. Honestly, like transported me.
I mean, that sounds like it could have been quite scary. Did it feel scary or did it feel good?
No, it just felt like, hey, like that's I don't ever get scary from when a dragon appears. I always get I might feel like I'm being told off, which happens quite a lot. You know? And then I'll get like I have one that comes in and he says, I'm not your guide. Like he's very sad, like very like, I'm not your guide, feeling like teenage vibes. And he's like, I'm just here to remind you to chill and have fun. So when he appears, it's like, just chill and have fun. So I'm like, okay,
You
I
do tell
will.
them, though, don't you? So listen, mate, I'm here in the physical reality and it's hard trying to be human and
I do. I do. I didn't at the beginning. I'd be like, okay. And then, but Bastet appears to me. She is like the queen of sass. And she will just tell me, like, she appeared and give me this image that in like 5 years' time, I'm going to be standing on a stage with my book. And she's like, and I told you were going there. And I'm like, it's not happening. She's like, don't try me. Like, really? And I'm like, it's not happening. It's not happening. And then eventually I'm just like, I have enough going on here. Stop telling me off.
Good on you. But it is happening. You know it's happening, right?
I do feel like I keep getting that call. The same with like they're telling me to put out like a podcast and all of this, and I'm like, no, but now I know it's just I'm just procrastinating at this point. It's just like I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. That's just what it is. I'm like, who really cares what I have to say?
Right. What you're gonna say is you're gonna tell me highlights, the lowlights. Tell us what you've been through.
Okay. No pressure. Well, I've already like touched on just this year alone has been a pretty like obviously there's the immense like spiritual side, but to get there, obviously had sepsis, went into septic shock, did that whole like into despair, had to do like 8 weeks of counseling because I felt like I was slipping back into where I was in 2021 when I had my breakdown and planned to jump off our like local bridge. I had left letters and voice notes for my kids and family, and that night my 4 year old, he would have been about a year old, he just cried the whole night, like, and I just clung to him. And the next day, I got in contact with my GP, but I now know from spirit that that was them guiding that they were there with me, and my grandparents were there with me the whole night. Um, yeah, so like I've had that. Uh, I've been in like a domestically violent relationship. That kind of like took its toll on my whole like it doesn't start out like that. It's the control factor. You're basically broken down and kind of just feel like you're worthless. So this kind of all leveled off into my breakdown. I feel like it wasn't so much a breakdown, it was literally just spirit's intervention to just go, you can't take anymore. Like this is it. Like I think you've been tested enough. Um, at 26, I found out that the man who raised me wasn't my biological dad. So I had this whole like other identity crisis of like, who am I? And my whole life has been like a lie, and finding out that everyone knew about this except for me, and there was opportunities to like tell me this, and um, I just kind of I'm just like where do I go? But yeah, it's just like it hasn't always been easy. Like even my childhood, my stepdad would have been quite abusive and um had us all that we weren't connected. So it's like a typical like narcissistic, personality of keeping everybody separate, and you're always like competing for affection. So I learned quite quickly to be the good girl and not be in trouble and do everything you're supposed to and put on that mask. And um I know I've had like just different events like bullied at school, like the whole way through school. I've even been bullied as an adult. Like, yeah, just
You've been through the mill. I'm just going to stop at 4 children, Stacey, because I've got two, and I've found it fucking hard raising two.
yeah.
You're 4 on your own, sweetheart, and everything you've been through, everything that you've just been challenged with, and here you are, like, and on this most incredible journey, but holding space for other people and just being that beacon of light and hope and just you're just incredible. I'm just absolutely in awe of you.
I just feel like I've had to experience what I've experienced so that whenever I work with someone or come in contact with someone, I can fully when I say I get it, I get it. Like you can't come to me and be like I haven't done this and this and this. Like with my older children, after I came out of that relationship, um, I was on my own. I was like a single mom who had no money coming in, so I was like selling my kids' clothes. I was like, we had this conversation like selling kids clothes. I've had to rely on like food banks. I've had, donations given to me by like charities. And I have been so fortunate that I have met these people who have been able to like lift me up whenever I was like broken. Like standing in the supermarket having like £2 to do you for like 5 days, and you're like, oh my goodness, like okay, my kids are gonna get fed. I'm gonna go a couple of days without food. It's gonna be fine. We have heat, we have oil, and it's why I will never judge anyone for the situations that they're in. I will never, you know, I will always try and help someone. And I do have these like coaches that are like, you should be charging more and you should be doing this. And I'm like, I was that person who was going days without food, who, you know, had to have a handout to help like feed her kids because an unexpected bill came in and you're like, oh my God, I have no money or I have no petrol to put in my car to take the kids to school and um I don't even have enough money to like buy them a winter coat and it just so happened and like Spirit has always been so good because there always was someone coming in with like, oh, just this bag of clothes and like they didn't realize at that time like how much that meant to me. Or someone would be like, oh, my kids don't eat this food. I know your kids are really good eaters. Here's like a bag. I hope you don't mind. It's just some like tin stuff. And I'm sitting there like whenever they leave, like breaking down in tears because I'm like, oh my, like I'm getting a wee bit emotional thinking about it, but just like so grateful for that that person coming in and they had no idea. To them they were just like, oh, that saves me having to go and throw it in the bin. But that was literally a way of feeding my children. And so I will always do what I can for everyone. And it's why I'm such a big advocate of the community and creating a community because I know what it feels like to do this on your own and feel like you couldn't talk to someone because, you know, you're going to be that mom that's just like you're already being judged for being like a single parent. You're already judged for like your kids not having all the things for Christmas and you don't want them to feel left out, but you are secretly battling your mental health and you're not having food and like all of these things going on. And like, even for a long time, I was in that relationship and I couldn't be honest what was going on because you had this fear that everyone was judging you as a parent whenever it's nothing to do with that. Like, it's not, it's not my fault that that happened. It happened. So yeah, that's why I do what I do because I just want people to know I get it. Like come in and like find your tribe, and when you find your tribe you will flourish and you will be completely supported. And yeah, that's just why do I do.
Fucking amazing. Absolutely bloody amazing. And we was touching as well on Christmas, weren't we? Because we was talking about pressure. This is something that
Yeah,
I struggle with because I mean I've been in situations before where I've put so much pressure on myself to make sure there was presents under that tree because I got my self-worth from being the perfect parent that the TV adverts show that
yeah,
you have to be and all of that bullshit that we are fucking programmed to do and think and just act like the, to spend money on all sorts of shit. Um, so yeah, I think the message for anyone who's resonating with any of this is fuck everybody else. Because you were saying, weren't you, some Christmases, you learned quite early on what actually was important. It took me a long time
yeah.
to get to that point.
I think I sort of, so I grew up, there were six kids in my house, so I learned that I seen like my mom and my stepdad do the whole over the top like Christmas thing because like for a while we were on benefits, so they didn't want people to know we were like on benefits. So it came across like, you had to have all the things that everybody did. So I learned that quite like even young. So even when my kids were really young, I never really like maybe did whenever they started going to school because you get in that little circle of people. But no, I feel like even my older kids are just like, yeah, it's Christmas. Like it's I don't know. I even put a post up there that I seen some mom being annihilated this year because she said she was only spending a small amount of money and these people were like, you have all year to save. And I was so mad. I put a post up and I was like, are these people living on the same planet? Do we not all have like our rent has gone up, our mortgage rates, our insurance, like prices for cars, like everything has skyrocketed this last year and people are barely able to like meet the bare essentials to then go and like buy all of the kids a PlayStation 5 because Sally down the road is buying her five kids like PlayStations or whatever. Like I just think it's ridiculous and it's why I put it out and I've said to all the ladies like, you know what, this year if you have to strip it back, you have to strip it back. It's not about what's under the tree, it's about who's around the tree. And do you know what? We'll just like muddle through it together. And if you need like someone to chat to, like just reach out and yeah,
Yeah.
well, we're all in it together. Like this crazy little whatever's
It's
going on this year.
it's like we've just been programmed as a whole society, isn't it? To go out and give supermarkets like all of
Yeah.
these massive corporations and then pick up the bill and suffer in January. And
Still paying it off 6 months later and
yeah,
then doing the whole thing all over again for another, it's
for what? For what?
yeah,
Because if I am honest, right, I was the mum who got it out. Everything, everything was exactly as it should be. Everything on the surface was perfect. Christmas, there was presents, there was the big Christmas dinner, everything. It had to be because I based my self-worth on this. So this was like essential for me to, feel like I was liked, accepted on all the rest of it.
yeah.
So I just remember sitting and I'm never actually happy. I spent the entire day doing what I thought I needed to do. Did I ever actually enjoy Christmas Day? Did I? Bollocks. I pretended I did. I thought I did at the time. Looking back, did I? Not one
No,
bit of it. Did my
no.
kids? Who's the fucking idiot putting up the Christmas tree, spending hours making sure that it's all nice, doing the bloody Santa when you shove your Santa all over the house, forgetting at 11 o'clock at night, and then you've got to do something really creative and post it all on Facebook so everyone can see how amazing you are. This was me. This was me.
Yeah, yeah, I get
Fucking hell.
totally.
Why do we do this shit? Why do we put so much pressure on ourselves? Oh, because Facebook tells us to.
Yeah.
Sainsbury's advert tells us to, and all the rest of the other advert. It's just mad.
It's about everything, even like as women as well. This is like why I'm such a big supporter of like women having the community because for years we have been from little tiny little kids, it's competing against one another and you can't be successful and you can't be successful. You have to be in competition with each other and you can't really be friends because if you're really friends, then what if I tell her something and she takes that idea and runs away with it? And it's like what when once you like step out of the the bubble that is the matrix and you're like, oh my gosh, like how much from like a little tiny child are we conditioned to just fall into this line of bullshit that we've been fed for years to just be a good little like worker bee or a good little like student or a good little wife or a good little this. And I feel like this year has been a year where loads of people have just been like, I've had enough. And they're
Yeah,
like, this is the year of me. And I did say this. I remember like coming out of hospital and being like, this is my time. I am no longer putting look at what has happened and all these years of putting everybody else first and putting everybody else's needs before my own. I have literally been laying in a hospital bed and now I'm relying on other people because I have put myself so far down the list. So I remember coming out and going, this is my time. I am doing my healing. I am going for what I want to. This is it. And I am going into 2025 like the year that I want to make it. And I feel like there has been like a breakaway of like friendships and different things, but I feel like Spirit has also I don't do things by like if Spirit says I need the big neon flashing lights of like everything has to blow up kind of before I get the message. So yeah, it's been a crazy ride. So I'm kind of excited just to see after all this healing and these like dark days that we've been having to see like what is on the other side of it.
yeah. And you can feel it, right? You can, this
Yeah,
massive,
it's just
yeah,
like this. I can feel it shifting finally, and I'm like, whereas before I'm like, oh my God, what is next year gonna bring now? I'm like, okay, so what's next year bringing?
yeah, yeah. It is, it's like, even though the planets are shifting and Pluto and Mercury,
Yeah,
and I know a lot of us in our community are feeling like really down, sluggish energies, headaches, all of the rest of it that's happening because of there's so many frequencies coming into the earth and shifting, and we're trying to navigate this. I mean, I don't know about you. I don't know if you felt this. Have you been feeling like dizzy or just going into a supermarket or into a public area? Do you just feel like you're not even there anymore?
yeah, I
Yeah,
do this where I just space out, and
yeah,
I can't. I have become really reclusive in the last, I would say, month. Like I won't even like I won't go into like my main town. Like my older kids are away to go and watch the Christmas lights being switched on this evening, and I'm like, I'm not doing it. I'm
yeah,
not. I cannot be in that sheer amount of people. Even with all like my protection, even the supermarket now, I will go at like 9 o'clock at night, or I will go and sit in the car and like my oldest, like I won't do a full shop. I'll be like, my oldest kid's gonna pick them up from school. Will you go in and grab X, Y, and Z? Or I'll go in like quickly. I won't like make contact with anyone. I'll just be like in and out. I can't, I can't, I can't deal it.
that's when I got the light language download, a couple of weeks after that, um, I just absolutely passed out in a supermarket. Completely consciousness just gone out of me. And it was like the frequencies in my body and the frequencies in that shop, whatever
Oh,
happened. So now it's almost like I can feel it. And like you, if I need to go into a shop to get something, I am right, list, what is it? What order? What aisles? I am in and out
yeah.
because I can feel it and I can feel the faintness coming. And the other
Uh-huh.
thing that really keeps me grounded in my body is just by channeling the light language.
Uh-huh.
Like I've got it, I don't say it going around the supermarket. I can just feel it coming through me. And I feel like okay with the frequencies. But this is what we're kind of contending with on this journey. But the flip side of that is because obviously we're getting these amazing gifts, right?
Yeah.
Getting these amazing upgrades. We're accessing uh more of our DNA that as humans we all have access to. It's just that we don't until we do the healing journey because the healing journey shifts the lower vibrational frequencies in our bodies, opening us up for more high frequencies dropping in. My point, what I'm getting to, I think I've forgotten. Oh yeah, that was it. What I was going to say is, how can people work with you, Stacey? So I'm going to put your details on this video, your link,
So
that you off.
just I'm on all the socials pretty much because Spirit is like I have to be everywhere. So you can just find me. It's under like my business name, Luna Rose Wellbeing, but you just type in Stacey Victoria and you'll find me somewhere. And yeah, you can just have more of this.
What do you offer? What do
So
you?
I do angel readings. So I don't work with tarot. Tarot is not kind to me. So I work with like angel cards and oracle cards. I do distance Reiki. So I work with the holy fire energy, which I only became attuned in after I had like sepsis there. And oh my goodness, mixed with light language, I'm like when I do it on myself, I feel like, whew, okay, and you can feel that. So I work on this and just obviously going beyond the veil and mentoring. So yeah, just coming in if you want to unlock your gifts, if you want to come in and learn about all of this and how I got here, and I can help you with that. And yeah, or women, if you're in person, come and join a women's circle.
Yeah, so just tell me about your women's circle.
So
You
yeah, this was like this was so I did my first one just this Saturday before I went into hospital. I was supposed to do one in October with another lady, and then I did my first one in February. I think there was 5 people came and literally went into hospital like a couple of days later. And Spirit kept telling me that I needed to do these circles, and I'm like, I have never run a women's circle before. What are you telling me this for? Um, and that was during like a Reiki session. This is even before like going beyond the veil, and I just kept getting this like me image of me hosting these circles. And yeah, so when you come and we do like a meditation, we chat about like new moon, full moon, depending on when we do them. And it's really for me, it's getting people together within my like even local community and just unlocking that gift. And like I've already seen a couple of people who've only been to like one session and they're messaging be like, my gifts are activating. Like this is so strange. Like I feel like I needed to come to unlock that. And I feel like you would say that you're like a you activate people's gifts. So I feel like in some way I don't activate people's gifts, but I feel like because we've been repressed for so long that I have keep being shown like an image of a lighthouse. So I help people see their own magic, and then when they see that, then they go out, and it's like a lighthouse, and they go to the next person, and they bring that, and they bring that, and like it kind of goes on in like a ripple effect. So yeah, it's
So
magic.
whereabouts are you?
So I'm
Where?
in Northern Ireland, if you
Yes.
haven't figured out by the crazy accent.
Anyone from Northern Ireland, get in touch with Stacey. Are you doing these online, Stacey?
So I have on Sunday, well, we'll probably pass if some people are seeing this after, but I do have a free Facebook group, and I'm trying to do meditations once a week because I feel like it's something that we all need in this energy. And I am starting my own membership as well, just with all of this included. So this Sunday, will be kicking off with a spirit guided meditation for the new moon for manifesting, and then I am opening up for a little like membership just to bring everybody in and get that community going and bring it online and just open everybody's like world to this incredible gift that we are given and just unlock their own magic and within like a supportive community. So yeah,
Yeah. So
excited.
anyone watching, like, connect with Stacey, and she is going to be getting her own modality as well at some point. I am fairly certain.
Yeah,
I can.
yeah, they keep
You know,
saying this. Yeah, they keep saying this, and I'm like, what am I gonna do?
is it come through yet? What's happened?
No, but I just get like breadcrumbs, so I don't know if it's. I keep being shown people to work with, so I don't know if it's eventually going to be like a mix of everything or, but they just come in and channel these like meditations to me, so I don't know. Part of me feels like that's included as well because, like, I did a meditation there for the full moon and literally just finished it, and they were hitting me with this one that is for the new moon, and I'm like, okay, so. Yay. So I don't know what it is. They just keep giving me these breadcrumbs and showing me these images. So I don't know what. I'm apparently doing a retreat next year at some point. No idea when.
Yeah.
It's a
So
bit like yourself. They
yeah,
just
this
come in.
it drops in when it has to, when it exactly the right time in exactly the right way. If we're meant to be doing something or bringing something, we will get a rocket up our ass to make
Yeah.
sure it happens, and it happens when it's supposed to happen. So yeah, just anyone watching, connect with Stacey. She's absolutely incredible. This woman is just so brave, so courageous. I'm so proud of her, and she's just gonna go from strength to strength, and she's just gonna rise
Oh,
and grow and glow and everything. And
you're really embarrassing me right now.
it's true. I see it. I see it. I see it all over you. And I can't wait. I'm just so excited for your journey, Stacey. Keep
I'm
calling
just so
me Chris.
excited to I'm just excited to be connected. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is amazing that I get to like chat to Laura for a full like whatever hour and a bit, like take up her time. I'm like, hey.
Sorry, nutcase.
I am. I told you I'm a weirdo. It's fine. I embrace it.
No, you're not. You're amazing. It's just I'm not just like you. I'm not used to anyone sort of
Yeah, it's really
being
hard whenever you're like you've come up that way and you've had like no self-worth and somebody said something nice to you and you're like,
yeah.
that's not me. That's not me. What are you talking about?
I'm like, it's not me. I'm not doing anything. I'm just channeling whatever's coming through me. I'm nothing special. I'm just me. Um,
Yeah, well, it's really hard. No, but honestly, I really appreciate like spending time with you, and yeah, it's I'm just excited to see like what happens next. I feel like I've been drawn to you for a reason, so
I
who
think we've
knows?
all come together.
Yeah,
So yeah, exciting times, isn't it? Anyway, I'll let you go, my darling. Have a beautiful evening. Thank you so much for doing this. I know you were dead nervous.
yeah. I think but it's that whole like, what do I have to talk about? I still have that in my. I'm like, I feel like I'm still quite new on this journey, and I'm like, what do I have to talk about? And then doing light language, talking about my dragon friends, like literally just go for it.
But this is the thing, because you shared your journey, and so you're relatable to people because this Theo's online making these weird noises, and they're like, "Who are those weirdos?" But we're just normal people. We were normal people in
Yeah,
2020. I was fully normal. I was fully a regular person who didn't know any of this stuff at all, any of it. And now look at me, completely
yeah.
changed. Weird.
Taking it out to the world. A spirit is telling you that you need to be prepared because this is going global.
Get out.
I'm gonna be like, I know her. I know her. I'm gonna be seeing you ever.
And when you've got like everyone saying, "Yes, I've seen visions of you," and you're like, "Fuck it now." Jeez. Anyway, we're gonna leave it there because I
Yeah.
guess, yeah, it'll be what it is, isn't it? It'll just be
Yeah.
all finely orchestrated.
Oh, yep,
Yeah,
exactly. The plan has been there from day dot.
apparently so. Good.
You too.
Yeah, thank
Thank
you.
you.
Ready to get a go.
Yeah.
All right, darling.
Bye. Thank
Have
you
a
so
beautiful
much.
I love
You
you, Sam.
love you. Bye.